Yeah,
But
I get that. Well, look
I guess first of all, kind of
look at Ngugi in '88.
you're not doing a marathon. How does this race kind of fit in your overall season?
Like Ngugi did in
I think,
'88.
this is the first time in
the funny
the
thing
last
is, the African champs
probably
in
3
210,
years that I've really been able to kind of, I wouldn't say focus on a half marathon, but since 2009, I've always used half marathons more as like a build-up for a marathon or right after a marathon, and it's kind of been just a little bit, it's always a little bit harder. So this one, I haven't really peaked for it, but I definitely tapered down a little bit more and tried to be a little bit more fresh than I would normally would be.
I remember Karun.
Has Mo been training with you guys when he did the half marathon in New Orleans?
He was in Kenya for a long time, so we all kind of, I didn't really get started doing workouts and stuff until about December, I think. I took a long break after Chicago. And so me and Mo is the same. As we just kind of started working out together. He went to Kenya, and then we ended up, Galen's running so fast that, we were more help to him than he was to us, I think, but so Mo's just kind of been back the last couple weeks now.
So a lot of it's been by yourself? Or?
For the most part, the last 6 weeks has been by myself. I trained through the month of December with the guys, and coming back in January for a little bit, and then, since the U.S. Cross Country Championships has been mostly solo.
And how long so you did cross and not doing worlds, then, or you kind of, I don't know if people took it the wrong way or what, because you kind of issued that, I don't know if apology is the right word, but, I mean, it makes, this is there's the money side of things, but how do you kind of view the whole cross-country decision and coming here? And
really, money doesn't really have anything to do with it to me. I mean, I make money from other sources too. I don't have to run a specific race to make money, but for me, it was really more than anything is about being excited to race. I mean, you can't go out there and just fake it, and for me, I didn't have the desire, that I initially after Chicago Marathon, I said, I think I want to do, cross country. It's been a long time, and I really wanted to do that. It was something that, like Bernard talked about, as being excited about it. That's what he was going to do this race for. And for me, that's, I had to take a look at it. What am I going to be most excited about running? And the half marathon, was just something that I knew that I hadn't had a chance to run really fast and really well at an event that I'm really good at. And so that's why I really decided to do that.
In your preparations for cross, how do you feel those went? How have things gone since then?
It's pretty basic. I mean, I didn't have any workouts that, I said, wow, that was a great workout, but, solid stuff. A lot of just good long runs and some foundational shorter stuff in hills. And so going into it, I felt pretty good, but at the same time, I don't think I underestimated how tough it would be, but I definitely kind of forgot how hard it is to go fast and stuff too. My last race was Chicago, and before that I ran Philly. So it had been since London, and until you get out there again, that's one of the things people talk about doing a rust buster and stuff like that. Until you get out there, you kind of forget how hard it's going to be, and get going into it. The race, I felt good, but maybe it wasn't completely there mentally either. And I don't know if it made a whole lot of difference because it ended up really being like a 4K cross-country race. That was the other thing. I think I had been doing stuff that I could kind of grind out a little bit better, but when it turned into just a 4K cross-country race, it was a shocker to the system.
And your fitness, do you compare yourself to the past years? Was it 2009 when you ran the 1 hour?
Yeah, it's hard not to, and I did a lot of the same workouts in the last 6 weeks that I've done before those, and they went really well and pretty close to those times. And so I know that the velocity is a little harder to hit, but the long stuff's easier, and so hopefully, this course can be really fast, but it can also be slow. So if the weather's good and you run the race right, it can be fast. And so I think I can run close to that if what I ran in 2009, if the pacing is good and the weather is good and everything. So it just kind of depends so much, though. I mean, like last year, a couple of guys took off crazy pace and it changed the race completely. So you never know what's going to happen.
So after this, will you do a track season?
Yeah, so this is really the plan is to try to simulate as much as last year, and and the World Championships are in Moscow at the same time, pretty much as London was last year, and it's 9 weeks from the 10K in Moscow till Chicago Marathon. So it doesn't sound like a whole lot, 9 weeks, but it worked well for me last year, and I think that if I could just pile on another chunk of good training like that, that'll be. I at least have a roadmap from what I did last year.
Yeah, because that's what I was thinking. It's like Chicago's a little bit sooner, but it worked for you last year.
It worked last year, and I think I do well with intensity, and so for me, 9 weeks out, I can come in and that last 9 weeks be not fresh, but sharp, from racing track and shorter stuff, and that just allows me to have really good quality sessions, and I don't have to worry about, for me, just getting to the line healthy is important, and so it's easy, I think, when you got 3 or 4 months of just grinding it out, to just pile more and more on top until the point where something breaks. And so if I can shorten that time and be maybe a little underprepared in some things, that's okay with me. I mean, I think that just getting there healthy is the most important thing.
When you look back to 2009, we had I guess in Berlin, I think that run was really well because it was pretty hot, so it might have been close to the American record on a cool day. Then you have the 12:56, 1 hour. It was all such kind of quick success.
Yeah.
Did you change things up? You ever thought about that? Because I mean, since then you've had some success, but
yeah, I after that 2009, there's a lot of success rate in a row. 6th in the World Championships in Berlin. Yeah, it was warm and very hard in the middle. It was and so I knew that I was in really good shape, and unfortunately there was no 10K in Brussels right after running 12:56. That was like the 1 year that they didn't have it, but I came back and I did the half, and that was good for me just to be able to continue that progression, have a good 10K, 5K, and half marathon all in that year, and I tried to change a lot after that, and that was, I think, something that we figured out wasn't we just had to make more subtle changes and slower over time. I mean, form, training, things like that.
You try to change things after the season.
Try to get better. And so you never want to settle, and you never want to be just do the same old thing, but you don't want to completely change things either. And so, unfortunately, I think we learned that pretty quick after that next year. 2010 was not a very good year. I mean, I won cross-country nationals, but struggled in the fall a little bit and had some injuries. But I really had just a terrible 2011 that was just one thing after another of they were non-running related things, but just got worse and worse and worse. And so it seemed like a long period of time, till basically it turned into 2 years. And then last year I had to rebuild completely last year. And so when I finished it off running 2:07 in Chicago, it was good, and I felt like I learned a lot of lessons there, and I was able to, I know that I need to change things, not stay to get stale, but I also need to keep doing things that have worked in the past too, and so it's a combination of both.
Yeah. Do you think just the initial change of coaches, just doing something different? Because people were debating that, and I was like, it seems to me when someone switches coaches, that's probably when you would see a lot of improvement, because you just change one or two things, and also the mindset changes. And
I talked about that a lot when with Brad Hudson, when I used to train with him, and we talked about anytime you change the stimulus, whatever it is, it doesn't have to be
dramatic,
something specific, but just that change can be important. But I think as much as that's important, it's mental too. You'll see people, it's a refresher, people get, that's the way distance running is. It can be a grind, you get into doing the same thing over and over again, and just to refresh yourself by doing something completely different, you're doing different workouts, which maybe are better, but maybe they're not, but it's just something different, and so I think people do that a lot, you see that change, and so you always have to do the things that are right, but you also got to be able to change things too.
With Alberto, do you think
Yeah, you need to change.
You said you need to.
You need a lot of change.
You're not having success. No.
No, it's just not just like like him. You see, he's sticking there for a while. He was there and he did sit down. He just stick, like a lot of people change it.
Yeah.
Do you think of the fact that Alberto did it himself and was like the best in the world, just that middle component? I mean, if Brad's coaching, he's like, Dathan, I know you can do this. There's going to be some part that's like...
It's a different mindset. I think, I went from doing a lot of stuff on my own. I was the best guy, and I could do, the things that I did with Brad were I wouldn't say they were easy for me, but they were easier for me to go do a lot of long things. For me now, when I work out with Galen and Mo, I mean, you check your pride if you do a track workout, because they're so fast. But, I can go do fast stuff, with them, and then I can come back and do long, hard stuff, and it gives me a lot of confidence because I can put those guys on the ropes in the long stuff. Then that's just such a, they're the best track runners in the world. So if I can put them on the ropes and long stuff, it's just a huge benefit for me. But so that's, I think the biggest difference is being able to know when you're getting your butt kicked, it's okay, maybe this isn't your strongest suit. So that's the biggest change, and that's part of what Alberto's, we do as a group is, we have a spread of pretty good guys from 1500 to marathon, and everybody can help each other in that way. And Alberto, he did it when he was an athlete by himself, and I think he sees the benefit of having people who have those strengths. So like Matt Centrowitz or Galen, they're so fast, and so he sees the benefit of having those people there to push you at the things you're not good at.
We were talking earlier how in track, a lot of times the top guy always beats the other guy. Do you think, Galen's never beaten Mo. Do you still view Mo as the champ? Obviously he's the champ, but with Galen's success now, looking ahead, do you see him more equal or?
Galen's good, man. I mean, he's taken it up a notch, and so, but that's part of the effect of having those people, because, I think Mo knows that he can't sit on his laurels because we came back and we were up watching his race when he ran 7:30. He's like, I got to get going, and so he knows that feeling that, hey, that he's right chomping on the bit, and Galen's out there, in the winter, really after, and he's motivated, and so, until he beats him, Mo's still the champ, but Galen wants it bad too, so.
All right, thanks.